Okay, I got a sign now that says we're live on YouTube.
It's preparing.
It says it's now streaming live on YouTube.
Okay.
All right. So you want me to see if I can
I'll go ahead and I'll make another host then.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, we're good.
So can you unmute everybody too, or?
I'll go ahead and I'll make another host then. Yes. Yep.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon.
Hey, Holly. Hi, Michael. Brenda, how you doing?
Well,
Okay,
she's-
can you unmute Brenda, please?
Yes.
Thanks. And Michael too.
And Angela.
Oh, Angela.
Nope. Yep. Okay.
I
Okay.
did me.
Oh, you did
me.
you. Okay.
Why
All
are
right.
there two Nicole Fowles? Whoa,
My phone.
pardon me?
One is my phone.
Okay, I'm unmuted now, aren't I?
Yes, you are. Okay. So we basically have two things for this meeting. One is for the board to, or for the committee to decide whether or not to go forward with the recommendation that we have from SHP for the new Liberty Township branch, which still doesn't have a formal name. We're still just calling it Liberty Township. And the second issue is to, if the board wants to do a recommendation to, I'm sorry, the committee wants to do a recommendation to the board to buy the land that we're going to build on. And so I have talked back and forth with the county prosecutor's office about the wording for that resolution, and we'll have that together in the next day or two. So those are the two issues that we need to decide, but so we can go ahead and get the board pack ready for the next meeting.
So can we approve the purchase of the land without the resolution, without the formal resolution?
The formal resolution is how you approve the land. You don't have to worry about that in the committee. No, the board will have to have the formal resolution. The
Okay,
committee can go ahead and just tell me to go ahead and get the formal resolution done.
So
I move that you get the formal resolution done.
do you need a motion for that or anything?
I think as long as we've got it in the record of this meeting, that it's the sense of the committee that you want to go forward. We don't really need a formal vote, no.
Okay. Yay!
Okay, All right, now
And-
this might be a short meeting. What's the second thing?
The other thing is just to go forward with the recommendation from SHP with the conceptual cost estimate and the basic concept for the building.
I move that we accept SHP's estimate.
Second. Second.
What does that mean exactly when we accept it?
Basically, that this is a conceptual plan for the building itself, gives us a rough estimate of what the cost of the building is going to be. This is not the final cost because that won't be done until all the technical drawings are done and everything. But the board as a whole needs to approve it so that we can go forward with the technical drawings and the surveying and all of the stuff that has to be done in order for us to get to the point where they can actually give us a price that the CMAR will live within. The construction manager at risk will live within.
Okay, so it's an estimate and not a final budget
Right,
amount.
this is not the final price of the building. Because, for example, they have to spec out and then have bids on all of the different electrical, plumbing, HVAC, with all of those kinds of things that go into building a building. And until they get those bids, what we have right now is SHP and Marker's best estimate of what those things are going to cost. But they're not final yet, and it won't be until they actually get the price of the steel, for example, that they'll need for the building, and whatever the prevailing wage is for plumbers and electricians and pipe fitters and all those other positions that go into doing the building.
Have they included an estimate for going solar power?
No, that's the kind of thing that they do once. They'll give us options as we go along. Right now, this is just, they haven't done solar, they haven't done geothermal or anything like that.
Okay.
But they will give that as we go along. This is basically using the kind of traditional building methods and everything is what we've got here.
Okay, so assuming the board approves this estimate, what does that mean? Is that a milestone where they can then go forward?
Yes,
Okay,
that's so they can actually move forward with doing the more of the like I said, the technical work that has to be done to actually price out everything.
And George, I'm assuming that we're going to get, what, 3 bids per subcontractor or something like that?
And I think that's right. I believe that's what, and actually we also have input into who bids on the project. So
Perfect.
if you know, we can ask them to say, like, we use Amanda Plumbing quite a bit. And so we can say, we want you to get a bid from Amanda, or we want you to get a bid from Applied Mechanical, which are the companies that we deal with the most, so that they at least have a shot to bid on it. And if we're going to continue to work with them as things need to be done over the years, then they've had a chance to be part of the project.
Okay.
That's actually part of the CMAR, the construction manager risk process. It's built.
Yes, yes. And he'll eliminate those potential subcontractors that want to bid where they've been problems, or they don't have a good ratings, or they have substantial work and things like that. So he's
Yes.
going to be our guardian to make sure that we get the best subcontractors to bid.
That's part of what they're at risk for. So
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
and if we move ahead with this estimate, can I assume that finance has been reviewed and there are no issues about us having the money comfortably to fund this at the current estimate?
I'm going to throw it to Angela, but we have talked extensively about this.
Okay,
Yeah.
I came in a little late to the
I know
game,
you
so
did,
you don't
yeah,
need to
yeah.
repeat everything for me.
No, that's okay, Brenda. Please, I want you to be comfortable with this. So go ahead, Angela. I'm sorry.
At first, when I thought it was going to be substantially less, number one, I got sticker shock, of course, because, it's like, oh, I have $8 million. Do you think that's plenty? But, now I need 10. And so it's like, okay, so we'll have to borrow some money. So we will have to meet with Patrick King and issue notes to do, and whatever the board wants. I would think that you would want to, if we're going to borrow money and extend notes, we would go ahead and finish the basement and pay for it all, and not think, oh, we'll do that later, because just rip it off and borrow all you need and get it done. This is me advocating spending money, which I'm not very comfortable with, actually. So
I want you to notice my lips were not moving. That was Angela talking. Not me.
I know. But if you're going to open up a new building and it's going to be your show place, the newest thing, you don't want to say, oh, well, we're going to do that later. That's what my thoughts are. So if we're going to have to borrow money anyway, which we are, because it's going to be more than $8 million, we should just go ahead and borrow what we need. We'll spend down the reserves as it seems appropriate, just because we're actually making more money, because the interest on our investments are laddered and they haven't come due yet. So as the investments come due and we have to buy more, of course they're going to be purchased at a lower interest rate, because interest rates are, still positive, but very, very low.
Right.
So we don't want to just cash out our investments right now, because we're actually making money on them until they're called. So but we will have to borrow some money to build this branch. So
And
there's
Angela,
that.
I know you've been doing a good job of staying on top of things with the current economy and the changes that current events have occurred, and how that will impact our influx of cash.
Right.
Is there any concern about that related to this project?
Brenda, of course I'm concerned, because I'm,
Again, pull out the crystal ball.
of course I'm concerned, but we're still operating on income tax base in Delaware County. I mean, that's the majority of our funding. So unless we're seeing everyone defaulting and not paying their property taxes and everything going south, which I don't see that's going to I don't think that's going to happen. So I am positive, I'm optimistic that people are going to make their property tax payments and we're not going to see massive foreclosures. Now,
Okay,
maybe the portion in Marion County, maybe the portion in Morrow County, maybe the portion in Franklin County, maybe, but and the portion in Union County, you know, that $200 I don't think is going to make a difference really in a $10 million building note, really, you know, offering. So
okay.
I'm optimistic, which is saying a lot for me. It's tough. It's tough.
It may sound obvious, but I just wanted to ensure that on the record, the due diligence was done and the elephant in the room, so to speak, had been discussed and so forth.
Right.
No, you're absolutely right. But no, we've been going through this. Angela and I have been talking about it. And before you got on the committee, Michael and Holly and I, and even talking with Jeffrey Sackenheim at SHP. So yeah, we've been talking about it quite a bit.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
The other thing that I wanted to point out, and I pointed this out to our staff, but I don't think I mentioned it to the board, is we built Orange when we were in the depths of the Great Recession. So that we do have a track record of doing things when you know, things are not necessarily as rosy as always. So.
Uh-oh, does that mean we need to stop building libraries? Because every time we do.
No, because every time we do, then there's a recovery.
Oh, okay, all right.
So George, having that, so Brenda, are you comfortable with the information you've heard?
Yes, I am, thank you.
You're welcome. So George, what are the next steps?
The next steps are for the board to accept the recommendation that we move forward with the recommendation from SHB, and that we move forward to buy the land. We'll get that into the agenda for next week's board meeting and move on from there. And
okay, and make sure that you put in there that moving forward is a recommendation of the ad hoc committee,
right.
And please let them know who's official on it and then who's part of the staff that supports this endeavor as well, because we don't want anyone thinking that it wasn't a thorough process and that we all are supportive. Now, I haven't heard from Holly, but Holly, I know you're supportive of this as well. Holly?
100%.
Thank you. And I'm 100% too.
Well, what I'll do is I will write that up as part of my board report for the meeting, and I will include that package that you guys got. In fact, I may send that out earlier this week so that they can take a look at that before the board meeting. And then
There's a lot of detail in this package. Could you add a cover page with just kind of an executive summary or a high level something to give folks a starting point?
yeah, I can do that, Brenda. Sure. Yeah, that's a good idea. And so, and then we can move forward after the board meeting. So the only other question I have is Jeffrey has offered to be on the Zoom call for the board meeting next week if the other trustees had questions. Do you want me to have him do that or not? That's strictly a board decision.
I'm not sure it's necessary, but I'm just speaking for myself.
Yeah, I would agree. My fear is, you know, we already had him bringing a new committee member up to snuff, and that's what this committee is for.
Okay.
If they have any questions we can't answer, then we can. But to ask Jeffrey to be there for, again, we don't want this to get. We don't want to go back to square one with questions.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I think that, and George, I think we'll have time as they're building the building. He's going to keep us informed when he gets the subcontractors and all of that. And if there's any questions at that time, he would be in a in a better position to answer them based on the subcontractors that have been allocated to bid than just telling us that it looks great, it's pretty, and XYZ. So I don't think he's needed.
Okay.
I mean, the bottom line to the board is we talk to the community, we talk to staff, we know what we need. They put this is a very practical, there's nothing fancy about this or extraordinary about it. It's bare bones, but pretty. And it's what this committee was given the task to do, and that's determine the need. This is the need, this is what it's going to cost. Here are the schematics. There's nothing about it we don't have gold toilets, you know, and so the committee's asking the board to trust what it entrusted us to do.
And Brenda, since you're fairly new, and I want to be fair to you in this process as well, but in this particular case, we have actually done our due diligence, and we've done our due diligence as a board and as a staff better than what we did when we built Orange. And Holly has been the intermediary between the staff and the board, et cetera. So they've had wonderful, good conversations. I've sat in on a couple committee meetings and I was impressed. And we just had the last committee meeting with Jeffrey and those folks. And so I'm really comfortable that we've done a much better job with this particular brand than we did with Orange. And I hope that you're at a level of comfortability since you've come on late that we've made good decisions.
Yes, and the questions I asked are probably similar to questions I would have asked if I hadn't been on the committee, but were just sitting on the board and this had been presented in a board meeting.
Perfect, perfect. Well, thanks for your understanding.
No, I'm really impressed. Like I said, there's a lot of detail here. I can tell just by the reports that you've been giving that a lot of work and thought has gone into this.
I'm pretty excited. I think it's going to be a real great addition to the Delaware County system. I think we'll have the community. I think is just going to eat it with a spoon. I think they're going to love it.
Well, good job. Okay.
Okay.
So I just have one question. After you accept all of this information and you approve the real estate agreement and the purchasing of the land, I am going to have a motion for a supplemental appropriation so that we can actually spend the money, because otherwise it's going to be another month, or maybe we're not meeting in July, and then it's going to be August until I can legally appropriate the money and then sign the agreement.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just so you're aware, I'm not going to put it in my packet with my supplementals where I usually do, you know, where we have the donated funds.
Yes.
Until after you have approved this, because
Okay.
There's no reason to ask to spend money unless you approve it.
Right. I understand. And that makes all the sense in the world.
Okay.
It keeps us moving forward without us having to go back and get these things done.
Right.
Great.
Exactly. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Well, thank you
everybody.
guys. I appreciate it.
All right.
And,
Cool. We're gonna buy
Yeah.
property.
Oh, look at it. She's gonna.
it is exciting. So,
Yes,
All right,
it is.
everybody.
all right.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Talk to you all soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.